There's no shortage of miscreants in this world, Sheriff.
The Legion of the Storyman Legion!
For the Legion of Extraordinary Miscreants, famous for their sins and their whiskey sins. They laugh in the face of the law, 'cause they had nothing to lose at all. Nothing to lose at all.
Hello everyone and welcome to the not Legion of Extraordinary Miscreants tonight, because this isn't a regular show. I'm here by myself. I'm in my garage. Sadly, due to scheduling issues, the regular merry band of fuckwits couldn't make it in. So I'm just flying solo. Do you know, I've got buttons here. Let me try it again. Merry band of what? See? So I'm in the garage and I've got a board here that I can play with. Fancy microphone, little board. I can use this when I say fuck or bugger. So what I'm doing is I've just jammed myself in the garage, right? The very limited for space garage in my house. I've got a motorbike in here now that is broken. I'll get to that. But I thought I'd record a thing because we do try and keep to a 2-weekly schedule. But sadly, scheduling issues have gone the way. I did organise a thing with our friend Steve and Big Mike, and it fell through because again, scheduling issues. So it's just me. It's just me just now recording this apology thing, which, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit here and ramble for a minute or two while I've got your attention. This, of course, is not going to be a regular episode of the show. I think we're going to try and get together at some point this week and catch up, because I feel bad not having that consistent 2-weekly thing out there that you guys can hear. So yeah, like I said, jammed in the garage here, my little garage space that I have. I've had this for a while now, this little space here, this little recording space at the back of the garage. Before was fine because there was plenty of space, I can move around, you know, I wasn't quite limited, but now that I've got this motorbike, this new motorbike, I say new motorbike, I've got this broken-assed old piece of shit motorbike that I've bought. Oh man, okay, so let me give you a tip when it comes to buying second-hand motorbikes, right? And this is a tip that will stead you well if you follow it, is when you go and see the aforementioned motorbike and you look at it and go, you know what, this is a good bike. This is the kind of bike that I like. This is a big BMW kind of touring bike that I bought. It's big, it's the right size. Like, I'm a big guy, so I'm like, I don't want to look like flipping Donkey Kong anymore riding a sports bike. I suit being on a cruiser or a touring bike. So I thought, I'm going to buy a BMW, a big touring bike. It's got the panniers, the big boxes at the back, so you can take all your shit, you know, your tents and your sleeping bags. And not that I'm ever going to be camping outside, because I'm too pretty for that kind of carry on. So saw the bike, and here's the advice. When the man who's selling the bike to you, now he asked for £1,500, right? £1,500 for this bike, which is the kind of going rate roughly for these bikes if they're running, or even if they're like just close to running, you know. And then this bike cosmetically looked good. There was a couple of bits in the exterior that like, okay, that needs replaced or that needs fixed. And his tale was, you know, like, oh, well, you know, I've been out of work and stuff, and I've not been able to afford to run it or fix it, and it's been lying here under a cover. But, you know, it went under the cover and it was still running, and I put a new battery in, and it's had this and that, and he's like, it should take no more than perhaps like a flush of the lines, new fuel, maybe a new battery, maybe some new filters, oil change, and it'll be good to go. Great, I thought, that's magic. So yeah, he was asking, like I said, £1,500. I thought, well, I'm not going to pay that for it because the thing needs work. So went away, sent him a message saying, hey dude, look, like your bike a lot. It's a good bike. I thought I'm gonna try and lowball him here, you know, lowball him. I thought if I go in with a lowball offer, I'm going at like £800, £900, and then, you know, that's a good £600 less than he's asking. And he might say, well, he might argue to about 12. I'm willing to go to maybe 11, 12 at a very push, but that's it. But I'm going to start at £900. So, and like, you know, look, pal, love the bike, but it needs a lot of things, and there's a lot of things we can't see under the fairings that they'll need to come off and check that. It's not running, it needs an MOT, it needs a new battery, it's a lot of pennies to put out to get this thing moving. You know, I think really let's say argument's sake, this is maybe like an £800 bike, but I said, you know what? I feel bad. I'm willing to pay you £900 for this bike, just to get it off your hands, take it away. Today, I'll take it away and we'll get it out your space. And he's like, cool, man, shook my hand. I'm up for that, cool. I'll take your money. So, £900, thought, what, steal, right? Steal! So, got the bike. Our good friend Steve came along with a trailer and helped move it off to his lockup for a brief period before we got it over to my garage. And once the fairings came off, you kind of realise that maybe I didn't get as big a steal as I thought I did. Like, it needs a lot of work. There's a lot of cleaning to do. There's a lot of like surface rust to clean off. There's a lot of like these bikes, these older BMWs especially, that a lot of the wiring, the insulation or the kind of rubber coating for these wiring is all kind of crumbling away. So a lot of that needs replaced, and there's a lot of like just it's been sitting for a good while, you can tell, so it's needing a good defustification. So it's turned out so far. Right? I bought this bike, over a month ago now, I think it was. And so far, I bought a new battery. The new battery I bought wasn't good enough. And I'm not getting money back on that battery because I threw away the box stupidly. So can't get the money back for that battery. I had to buy another new battery, get that fit in. It's working fine. Then we discovered that there was something clogging the fuel filter and the lines and injectors. Pulled apart the tank, got all the old fuel out. It was dead. It was like water. Got all that out. There was like a white gunk, this white substance lying in the back at the bottom of the tank that had been pulled through the lines, and it was just like this. It was a strange, like you could break it up. You could break it up in like a beaker, and it would just re-gel back together like a flipping symbiote, from the Venom movies or from. So that had to get cleaned out as well. That was all cleaned out. So because that was in through the machine. That meant cleaning out all the injectors, and it meant cleaning out replacing and buying a new fuel pump, and then the O-rings. So everything's been going wrong, and finally got it running for a very brief minute or two. My good friend Butch, who's a mechanic, who's a fucking wizard, by the way, when it comes to these things, got it running, but then it died again. And now it's like, well, tracing the problem even further. What's wrong now? Is it the ECU? Is it this? And then the starter motor crapped out, so I've got to buy a new starter motor. And it's just like, that bill is now creeping up. So I'm definitely over £1,000 deep now, including buying the bike, and probably a good 1,100 quid deep so far. But I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can see this thing running, hopefully, very, very soon. And I'll be back on the road. You've got no idea, by the way, how keen I am to get back out on a bike. It's been too long. Like, my old cruiser got pulled apart because it was needing resprayed and new bits. And we had it in Steve's lockup, and it just kind of sat there. We didn't do anything with it. We couldn't get around to look at it. We couldn't get it together again. So it's been now piled back over to my garage, and it's currently lying in bits in my garage, alongside with the current bike, and alongside this recording equipment, and alongside all my like geeky shit that I've got out of here as well too, that I'm not allowed to have in the house. And oh man, it's just a minefield, but it's going to come good. I'm going to get the bike running again. I'm going to be out there doing big runs. I'm planning to do like back to Thurso and back and stuff, and all these cool things. So that's kind of like where my headspace is right now. And also, like, I've been trying to, during this downtime as well too, and during like, we've had like pretty lower spells of work recently. So I've been like, okay, I'm going to focus on getting some weight off, because I've had problems with my knee, get some weight off. So I've dropped a few stone in weight, and I'm like, this is cool, going the right way. And I've been a bit more mobile because my knee has been a big problem for me. I've maybe mentioned on previous shows there that I thought I was needing like a partial knee replacement. And it turns out I saw the surgeon there last week, shut up Scott, last week, and saw the big top surgeon guy, and he's like, oh no, big guy, we're going big, and then you're going home. We're gonna give you a full knee replacement. Which for someone my age isn't really usually a thing, because, they try and give you a partial, then maybe a full when you're a bit later on. But he's like, oh no, he goes, we're going full. He said, because, I've given you a partial, you've got oversized, you're an oversized individual. You're basically, a nice way of saying I'm a mutant, right? A big old Sasquatch shaped mutant. And And this is the fun thing they're going to have to do. They're taking out the old knee. They can't just bung in like a regular off the shelf, Johnson and Johnson, bloody all day plastic knee. No, they need to give my leg a CT scan the whole leg to get all the dimensions. They then go away with the dimensions and they custom make like a larger custom made knee that's going to fit this space that they're going to hack out of me. So custom made knee is getting made, seemingly. I'll go in. The surgery could be a bit of a wait. I think the waiting times are like 1.5 years, but I'm going to try and expedite that because seemingly with a custom knee, they can't just leave that sitting there doing sweet FA. They'll maybe get that made and just bang in quicker to get it over and done with. So I might be even quicker yet. But the new knee is the plan, you see, to get myself mobile again because, man, my knee has been giving me jip. Even like today, for example, I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but I quite enjoy sitting here just speaking nonsense. Like today, we had an event nearby, nearby Inverurie, called the Geary Run, and it's there's a 5k, a 10k, like a half marathon run. There's kids races, so we've got our kids in for the kids races, which is cool. So I had the knee sleeve on, I had the knee brace on. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm going to walk this whole time and move around, and everything's good. And we went today, and by the end of the day, man, let me tell you though, by the way, sorry to go off track a little bit, but watching kids races are some of the funniest things I've ever done in my life, right? Because they heard, like, the big kids races, they keep them in a pen, so they're all in a pen off the track initially. And then they open this pen doors and let the kids then run to the starting line. And but there's no coordination. And it's all like kids, and some kids are fucking elbowing their way through. Other kids are they're diving through. There's car crashes. People are going fucking topsy-turvy. It's amazing. And then the kids get to the start line and the compare's like, well, kids, you can't run until you hear the big horn. We're going to count down. We're going to move these gates that are blocking you from starting. But when we move these gates, don't start running because you have to wait for the horn. And sure enough, the gates get moved. The kids just they're away. They're going, fucking away. They're gone. They're away. And they're like, whoa, on the town, like, get the fuck back here. You're not supposed to go yet. So kids are back again, and they're jockeying for position. And you get the mix of the ones who are serious, like the ones with the frowns. These 10-year-olds that are just like, I'm gonna fucking win this. And the ones like my son, who's just like, has the Magic Roundabout song playing in his head, do, 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 and he's just dancing away and waving in the crowd and making funny faces. So the kids take off, fucking beeper, they're away, and it's the most fun thing to watch because like there's an initial pile up, like it's like a Days of Thunder smash at the front of the line. There's kids, there's somebody's shoe came flying off. They're down. There's kids just fucking like. They're running into this crash in the ground, about 10 kids lying in a big bundle of limbs, using these downed kids as stepping stones to get over the crowd and away out in front. There's bairns screaming. Like I said, a shoe generally came flying off. It was the most beautiful thing. My son's skipping along like Captain Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean, with flappy arms, and the way they go. And of course, they're doing like is it an 800 meters? I think they do, just shy of a 1K, and they're doing this. There's a big winding course to go around, and there's kids like they're elbowing and they're jockeying for possession. There's 10-year-old kids, and there's kids getting nailed into barriers. There's it's the best. And then they come round the final corner, and they go briefly out of sight. They come round this final corner and then straight towards the crowd again. The crowd's all cheering, come on, let's do it. And you've got these kids who are, like, some of them are crying. Some of them are just hating life. Some of them are, like, carrying a switchblade. They're going to fucking win no matter what. They're coming through, just not even folks in the crowd. They're doing that, like, the T-1000, not T-1000, the oh God, the Terminator from Terminator 2, Robert Patrick's Terminator, the fluid one, is it T-1000? Anyway, they're doing that run, when he's chasing the police car, just that dedicated straight ahead, arms going like a generator, round this corner, and there's kids who are like coming around, being carried like they've been pulled out of a war zone by their colleagues, you know. And then there's my son who's coming skipping round the corner like it's it's the best thing. If I can give you any advice and you want a fun day out, is stick your kid in a kids race and just enjoy the carnage. It's wonderful. And like even like the smaller kids, they've got like a shorter race for the smaller kids, the 4 to 8 year old or 4 to whatever it is. I think it's 4 to 8. And the smaller kids, and but they've got no idea where they're going. They've got no idea. They're taking wrong turns. One's got under a barrier and run away. You know, the other one's into the crowd. Just fucking, it's amazing. I loved it. Oh, dear me. So what other drama's been happening with me this last little while? I'll tell you what drama I have had is, and it's been quite the drama, let me tell you, is I don't know if you've ever been plagued by the horrors of constipation. Right, now, hear me out here, right? Now, constipation. And it's a thing that I've never really suffered that badly from, right? It's a thing that I'm like, I've always had a very regular schedule. Get up in the morning, you know, go for that first early morning jobby, nice and hefty and smooth. That's lovely the way it goes. And then maybe about kind of 10 a.m, a second jobby, you know, and then there could be 2 more through the day. There could be one maybe kind of like early after, or kind of early dinner time, you know, early evening. I'm talking like a consistent kind of 3 to 4 jabobbies a day, right? That's been my schedule for as long as it works for me, and it keeps me fucking regular. But last week there, I think on the Tuesday, the schedule went all to hell. Went in the morning, nothing was coming, and I could feel that pressure, that internal pressure, like you've got a hefty bricky's thumb up your pooper, right? You've got pressure there. You're like, oh, there's a thing in my butt that needs to come out. And I sat in the pan, and it was going nowhere, son. It was going nowhere. You can push as much as you want. You're probably going to blow a blood vessel. It's going nowhere. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I'll leave it until the 10 o'clock schedule. I'm sure by then it'll maybe work its way loose. You know, I'll do a bit of rhythmic walking. You know, when you walk and you have the hips going side to side, like you're a catwalk model, just to make sure that internals are getting ground together. So whatever's blocking the passage is getting a good kind of squishy, and hopefully comes out, you know, either crumbed up or softened up. You know, one of the two. 10 o'clock comes, went for that. I get the pressure now is getting a bit higher, right? It's now, the bricky's got a thumb and a pinky in there too, right? He's going for that. He's giving you the Spock, but the wrong way. You know, he's giving that rock fingers. And it's like, still not coming. And I'm like, I'm holding the walls. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is not good. Not coming out. Evening comes. Same again, right? The bricky is just like, fuck it. I'm not even taking my ring off for this. He's 3 deep, right? There's nothing coming out of here, right? It's packed up, jacked up. I am jacked up. I am just scared to go to bed because I crap myself. You know, you get that kind of sweat. It's like, oh fucking hell! I need to get a poop out. Wouldn't come out. So I thought, right, in the morning, surely the morning's going to be I'll sleep. My body will work away whilst I'm sleeping on resolving the situation. That's what the body does. You sleep so your body can fix all the ailments, right? That's what the process is. That's what I'm led to believe. My jobbies will be kinked out and they'll come out like an absolute smooth motion in the morning. I was mistaken. They did not come out. By this point, the bricky is like, he's up to, I'm asking him to take his bloody Casio off. You know, he's got one of those G-Shocks. Take that thing off before you come, while you're in there. Packed up. Nothing's coming out. Still this, I can feel the pressure and I can't feel any movement. I'm like, oh, come on. I had to go to work. I think I was walking with a limp, but that's not even with a bad knee. Walking with a limp, I had to go to work. And this continued for 3 days, right? Just absolutely. I think I gained like 3 stone in weight because nothing's coming out, right? I'm praying for death. And I'm like, oh, come on. I'm on the pan. Like, you know when you push so hard that you start kind of hallucinating a little bit. You start seeing shit. Well, I think that was me. Started seeing it, hearing the voice of my dead mother. You know? You're a disappointment. Lose some weight, fatty. Ah. So yeah, so I should never have had you. So I thought, right, I need some external help with this because this is getting. But I went to the shop, right, and I look in the aisle for the relief ones, and I thought, oh, this Imodium must be the one I need, and I picked it up, and I was 3/4 of the way to check it before I looked at the packaging, going, oh no, this is for when you're too loose, right? This backs you up even more. So I had to go back then, put it back on the shelf, tail it off, find what I was looking for was I think it's Senecot, perfect. That's the one. Natural kind of relief to get that thing moving again. Take one of these bad boys and see what happens in the morning. Cool. It's like an 8-hour window to get this thing working properly through your body from what I'm led to believe. So, sure enough, the next morning I wake up and I had to roll out of bed because things are so backed up now. Like I think I'm dislocating my hip at this point. I'm like, you know the way you speak, right? When you've had a really heavy meal. And you're like, that kind of heavy breathing, like, fucking hell, what's up? I cannot feel my legs. That kind of like over exaggerate, fucking hell, I couldn't even handle one more after 8 mint, that kind of thing. So, waddled to the bathroom and sat down, hoping for the best, and the worst happened. So, whatever that plug was, that compacted plug that was just holding back, 14 kilograms or 14 stone of compacted feces had been coaxed to move by the Senecot, whatever it's called. And out it comes first, right? And because it's been there for a little while now, even before it hit the water, even when it was in the water, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck died in here? Because you get used to your own scent or your own smell, but sometimes these things can proper horrify. So, Jesus Christ. But because the plug's out now, that train's free to go. That tunnel's clear. The train's hitting full steam. And it just... It was like a Gatling gun going off. I'm hitting higher notes than I've ever sung in my life. Singing away. Imagine... so then the harder bits are all fucking firing away, and then it was going into the leftover kind of fluey, wetty bits are coming through, and it was like, again, not to be too horrific, he says halfway through his diatribe, but imagine like you put a tap on and you stick your thumb over the end of it, and that sideward spray, just what the fuck, and it just coating the pan, and eventually my body cleared. I don't know if I can explain. It was like, when you see, is it Christian Bale in the film The Machinist, and the film role where he like deliberately lost, about a third of his body weight. So he looked harrowed. He looked like just sunken in. He looked like he just spent a holiday in Auschwitz. That kind of like sunken in cheek. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was how I felt after everything had purged. Like there's a mirror in our bathroom. Once I regained the use of my legs and got cleaned up, which, by the way, was not a very small process, got cleaned up and had a look at this mirror, I could have sworn, like, I've suddenly developed some kind of, like, wasting disease here. Have I got the Ebola? What's happening? Just sunk it in. And the pan, man, that was... I'm not going to go into details because, I get very family-friendly show here. I don't want to go into too much details. But holy good Lord, at one point I could have swore I had a pulse. Like I was going to get the toilet brush and attack it, but there was a good 3 flusher. Like, and I couldn't even put in more paper, so I had to like flush and then more wiping paper, flush more paper. So it wasn't like I could just like overload it with the clatty. So I had to stand there like mostly clatty until I could clear some room in this pan and get some paper in and follow it through. So that was like a really harrowing. And I've realised I've spent about, 10 minutes telling you about my fecal waste in my garage, which, by the way, has got a very thin yet secure door there. So the people walking past are definitely hearing me speaking about shiting in the lavvy. So enjoy that. I hope you appreciate that. That's, how my life has come to. 50-year-old man with a knee replacement, sitting in his garage, with the smell of petrol and failed motorbike enthusiasm, talking about his jobbies. Hope you like that. Let me think. So before I go, I mean, there are a couple of emails that we had for the show that we planned to do that got rudely interrupted by people having like real lives and stuff. So I'm gonna wing a couple of emails at you. See what you think. We'll go through it together. Hold my hand. It's going to be okay. It's time for some emails. First one goes, "Hi legends. This isn't really a funny story. I'm writing to ask, should I come clean or just live with the guilt forever? A few weeks ago, I was added to a WhatsApp group for my friend's surprise 40th birthday. It's one of those big groups with loads of mutuals, some I know well, others I don't. We were planning the party, sending memes and generally taking the piss, as you do. Then out of nowhere, one of the guys in the group, let's call him Neil, accidentally sent a photo meant for someone else. And when I say photo, I mean a full frontal shot of his fully erect manhood. To clarify, it was actually more of a full body nude selfie, clearly being sent to someone he shouldn't have been sexting and got sent to our group chat instead. And he deleted it immediately, but not before I screenshot it. I'm friends with his wife in a roundabout way, not close, but we move in the same circles. I don't particularly like her, if I'm honest, so I've said fuck all about it. Nobody else in the group chat has mentioned it. Maybe he deleted it quick enough to cover his own ass. Should I show her the photo and admit his adultery, or do I keep on just masturbating myself stupid at nights looking at it? Okay. Help me, miscreants, from Doug the Plug. So Doug likes to jack it to a picture of a friend's cock. That's wonderful, Doug. That's good to hear. So what does Doug do? Now, I'm trying to think if there's been any periods, like I've never been one for sending like a toodle picture. The only toodle picture I've sent people was many, many years ago when I had a horrible zip incident and tore apart my, the polo neck of your penis, right? The ones that Americans don't have. That polo neck, I've told the story a few times before on our main show, the DHB. But to give you a brief summary, like one night at work, had a pedal, the toodle fell out of the underpants as I was zipping up. The zip then tore into the foreskin, tore it apart, bleedy mess, up to hospital, looking like I'd been stabbed, blood everywhere. Had to go in and get a surgeon. The surgeon got called to his bed. This poor Indian guy who was like barely awake came in with the biggest fucking needle and thread in your life to sew this thing back together again. I got 7 stitches to put together my polo shirt, which then subsequently over days swole up to like a flipping, you know when you get kids these days communicate by emojis and they send, what's the one they send, for signifying a penis? It's like a purple fucking fruit. You know what I mean? Bloody, what's it called again? Damn it. Aubergine. I'm assuming it's an aubergine. It looked like that. There's this purple swollen fucking monstrosity of a thing. So as it calmed down though, and it returned to an almost normal size. I didn't want to do it normal size because that's mediocre at best. I kept a bit of swelling in there when I took this photograph of this abomination. And so I took this photograph of this thing in my hand. But the problem is though, right? And this is no excuse, right? When it comes to penises, no excuse. But you have to bear in mind that I do have very, very large hands. Like I'm talking large enough hands where any company I've worked for so far, I've had to import gloves for me from other countries because in the UK, they don't seem to do gloves big enough, PPE gloves big enough to fit my massive hands. So they're not the best hands to like hold a toodle in because it's going to look like you're holding a kid's winky, right? Essentially. So I needed all the help I could get. Being partly swollen and a bit purple was fine because it looks normal now, in my hand. So I took a picture of the exhaust end and where you can see this like orange, fucking bright orange thread knitted like from the inside to the outside of this V-shaped. My polo neck basically became a V-neck briefly before they stitched it back together again. And sent this to a couple of friends, like, look at the fucking state of this. They, of course, then subsequently sent it on to other people. And the next thing you know, I found in my former career as a nighttime bouncer, which, by the way, is probably the most gossipy career outside of fucking fishwives and, like shit like that, wash houses. The whole world had seen my purple, engorged, V-neck fucking orange-tied penis by this point. So yeah, don't send out any dick pics. And again, for guys out there who are single, right, and this guy Neil clearly as well, I've never met a woman, right? I've got several female friends, never met a woman who said, you know what I really enjoy is getting a flaccid cock in my fucking inbox. No one's ever received a flaccid or fully engorged penis into their WhatsApp or their dating app, whatever it might be, and gone, you know what, actually, that's got me right sogging. That's got me right up for a roly-poly. No, it is not, right? That's not an attractive piece of equipment, for a start, right? The male body, unless you're jacked at the gym and you're packing in the gear and you're shredded with your water weight and you look like some kind of fucking underwear model, then fine, right? Fine, you've got your shit sorted out, fine, cool. But the regular male body, nah. Like, generally, you've got the paunch above the crotch, you've got a secondary paunch if you're chubbier, directly above the pee-pee, you're slumped down because you're fucking old. Oh, look at my fucking monkey. Nobody wants to see that nonsense. So the first rule of thumb is don't take a picture of your Johnson and send it to anybody, because that's bullshit, right? That's the first rule. The second rule, of course, is when you see a picture of said Johnson from someone you might know, you instantly show everyone else, because it's their own fault. Why are you sending out Johnsons? The whole world's getting to see it. So I fully endorse, tell the man's wife, look, here's your man's toodle in a group chat that he quickly deleted. Can you explain? There you go. That's my 2 cents in the matter. And we've got an email from someone called Ron B. And Ron B writes, this is a story I've never told anyone sober, or probably for a good reason. I need to confess and also maybe ask if I should get a lawyer or a priest. Oh, good. So my flatmate, let's call her Jazz, bakes cakes, like really good ones. Instagram tier, ridiculous piping, edible glitter, the works. What I didn't know until very recently is that she also bakes infused cakes for clients, as in weed brownies, shroom cupcakes, and in this case, a lemon drizzle lightly laced with cocaine. Unbeknownst to me, I grabbed one of Jazz's cakes from the fridge, before heading to my nephew's 6th birthday. I thought it was one of her normal lemon ones she made for brunches. Genuinely had no idea I was smuggling a drug cake to a children's party, like some sort of pastry mule. Everyone had a slice, mostly the adults, thankfully, but the fallout was immediate. My aunt started claiming she could see vibrations. My stepdad cried at a paper plate, and my nan, who's 84 and a retired nurse, kept shouting, I'm back in Nam! She's never been to Vietnam. An ambulance was called, no one died. I'm still not sure what to do. No one knows it was me. Jazz's drug cakes are a secret business, and I never told her what. How do you mean no one knows it was you? You're the one that brought the fucking cake. Why is everyone going to be baked out their brains at a party? There's got to be one underlying factor that they've all interacted with. It's going to be either the coffee or it's going to be the bloody the juice drinks in the big tubs, the big jugs, or it's going to be the cake. So sorry, Ron, but you're getting fingered here. I never told her what happened. I don't know if I should confess to the family or take the secret to the grave. Am I a trafficker, an accidental dealer, or just a deeply unlucky cake courier? Man, that's it's I've been the recipient of a sneaky drug laced pastry before. I didn't know it was drug laced until afterwards when I was lying on the floor and watching the ceiling dance above me. But and even we went to a Scotland game in Amsterdam one time, and myself and a guy called Feathers. Now Feathers was a good friend of mine. Feathers was a great guy, right? Great guy. He could speak, he could hear fine. His parents were both profoundly deaf from birth. So Feathers, who could hear, his first language essentially was sign language, and that kind of. I don't know if it was him imitating. If you heard him speak to his parents, he did the same thing, with that same. I'm not being rude. I'm not being horrible here, but they have that same when people who are deaf, they can't hear their own voice, so it's like and it's just that kind of noise they make. He would do that when he was speaking to his parents while signing. And you're like, okay, cool. So anyway, we've gone to Amsterdam, Scotland game, and as you do, you take a walk around. Excuse me. You take a walk around the less salubrious areas. You take a look. You have to go have a look and see what it's all about. And you're seeing you're seeing the core of the windows, right? The grade AAA windows. Holy moly, these are the model quality windows. And then as you go to the outskirts, further out, the windows become a bit less salubrious. They become a bit more varied. They cater for wider tastes, wider being the operative word. I saw one lady who, my God, was at least 30 stone if she was a day, and you don't want to see that clad in like fucking lingerie. What's up? So, but feathers enjoyed the occasional dabble in a tainted cigarette, if you will, and thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Amsterdam and I'm going to try some of their cookies. Sorry, some of their their is it cookies? Yeah, hash cookies, basically. Try some of their hash cookies, brownies. Try some of their hash brownies. And he says, my tolerance is up there, pal. I'll have a couple of these things. I'll be fine. I'm like, cool, man. But listen, it's it's 3 o'clock. Well, so it was like maybe 3 o'clock, and I think the game was like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. I'm like, if you get too baked, man, you're missing this game. And he's like, no, I'll be good. I've got a high tolerance. I'll get me in the right mind frame. I'm like, okay, man, cool, you go for it. But bear in mind, there's like 8 of us here. We can't stay at the game to watch over you. He's like, no, I'll be good. He had 2 of these fucking brownies from this little cafe place he went into. And a very short while after, absolutely ruined, like just lying on the floor, lying on benches, and we're all wearing kilts because we're visiting Scotland fans, and you do that because that's what we do. And he's lying on a bench. He nearly fell in the canal at one point. For fun. Right, listen, Feathers, what are you doing, pal? He's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to the hotel. And I don't know if you know how a lot of these Dutch hotels work, but they do not compensate for, like, they enjoy a steep incline. See those stairwells, those stairs, they like a steep incline. Like, there's no cadence. You're like, it's almost like you're climbing a fucking ladder sometimes with these steps. And, got him up to his room, back into his bed, and he missed it. He had worked hard to get a ticket for this game, right? We all did. He missed the game. He missed the night out afterwards. He slept entirely through that night into the next morning when he felt fine though, but absolutely ruined him. So yeah, I do have some experience with the laced pastries, if you will, but not for a long time. I hasten to add, family man now, don't do that kind of shit anymore. My dabbling days on these kind of nonsense things are over, but I like to live vicariously through others. So Jazz, Ron B, I am delighted. And I would like to hear more stories about Jazz's cakes if you so would like to share going forward. So I think that's kind of all I can blabber about, really. I mean, that's like damn near 40 minutes of me speaking nonsense to you. I do apologise. But I just thought, you know what? I'm off tonight. I'm not working. I'm working tomorrow. I thought I'll just sit in the, everyone's bailed on me because, they're all busy as fuck. One person bailed on me 2 minutes before we were due to record. Like, oh, sorry, can't do it. Shit's gone away. What the So, it's cool. We've all got lives. So, yeah, thank you all, guys. Sorry for this not being a regular show. Hope you don't mind me ranting for a good 40 minutes. And I will catch you on the next show. I think we're going to try and release the next show before the 2-week window. Because that's what we're doing for, of course. Every 2 weeks on a Monday, get the show out there. Try and get it out there before then if we can, and then catch up again as normal. Worst case scenario is it'll be 2 more weeks. Apologise, but we're grown fucking men here. We're trying to get together. Hope you guys are wonderful. Love you all very much. Take care. God bless. Godspeed, and may you not get constipated too badly where you left off the pile like a fucking hoverboat. Toodaloo. Love you.
End of the road again. Misfits in our home. Rocking through the night. Nose on the wall. Crashing through the static, voices in the haze. Legion passing back, riding through the phase. We fight the noise. It started. this rebel land.